Go for the third semi of the egg.
He is quite simply known as the voice of greyhound racing.
Second.
For more than 40 years, but from an early age, his career was set in stone.
Any of the upper echelon broadcasters all wanted to be a broadcaster, a race broadcaster at a very young age. And I was 7 when I wanted to be a race broadcaster. Now, plenty of kids want to be a train driver, a bus driver or whatever, and I know in those days a lot of kids wanted to be a race broadcaster, and it was the same as the train and what have you, but I wanted to be a race broadcaster. At 12 years of age, I just needed to be a race broadcaster. And when I got to my teenage years, I simply had to be a race broadcaster. I couldn't have survived without it.
His career started in 1967 calling rugby league matches, and in 1971 he joined 2KY, or Sky Sports Radio as it's now known. His enthusiasm for race calling has not waned since.
Every time I walk into the broadcasting box, what I'm broadcasting is different. Every race is different. Every race has a challenge. Every race has a different winner and it's run in a different way. If you can't get enthusiastic about that, you're dead and buried, because that's the most enthusiastic thing you'll ever see. It's just the thrill of the race. It's the thrill of the gamble. It's the thrill of the breeding that goes in to make them. And that's, whether it's harness, thoroughbred or greyhounds, it's all the same.
Having called thousands of races during his career, Paul nominates the great Zoom Top as the benchmark of champion greyhounds.
If you go through Zoom Top's records, you might find that Zoom Top got beaten a lot of times and everything else, but Zoom Top did things that other greyhounds can try and just never do. Zoom Top went round Gosford one night on a 700-yard race, broke the 300 and the 500 and the 700-yard record. And then would race in a 300 on Saturday at Harold Park and come out on Wednesday in a 700 or something at Bulli and just win. It was just a phenomenal greyhound.
In 2009, Paul Ambrosoli was inducted into the Australian Greyhound Racing Hall of Fame. And tonight, he'll be perched high up in the grandstand at Wentworth Park, calling his 21st consecutive Golden Easter egg. Calling greyhound racing may be his passion, but he also considers it the most difficult of the 3 racing codes.
Let's say Tappy's got box 6 tonight. For some unforeseen, semi-conscious moment, 2 weeks later, Tappy's in the white rug, but halfway through the race, you go to the green and you're about to say Tappy. Yeah. Now, if you're a white dog, on both occasions, it's just amazing how it is. And if you're studying won the red in race 10, invariably the only thing you got to your head is won the red in race 1, and it really does become a bother sometimes when you're trying to really study the colours. And yes, that is a burden. But that's part of the scene. If it was easy, we wouldn't be there. Life wasn't meant to be easy or something like that. And the green light is through. The bunny is set in motion for the 2010 Ambrosoli, sponsored by De Bortley Wine. Set and ready. And racing, Sindine Shelby flew out of the boxes. Dana Beatrice and Flash of Light both got away well, followed by Divine Ruler. They were followed the outside by Snoz. On the inside, Shredded Cheese with the other one, Boston Blackie. And the tail end was Arthur Ridus. Into the back they go. And look at her go. Sindine Shelby, 5 in front. Flash of Light won't go away. In third place, Dana Beatrice, Snoz, Divine Ruler, Shredded Cheese, followed by Boston Blackie. But around the corner, Sindine Shelby's off and gone. She's going to romp in the Ambrosoli. Sindine Shelby scores by 5. Flash of Light second, 5 away. Third was Dana Beatrice, ahead away Snoz.
It's always very nice to have something named in your honour, and this race is now, I think, the 4th or the 5th running of the Ambrosoli, sponsored by De Bortley, and that's wonderful. I'm very proud of it. I'm also proud of the fact that it's been won by some fine greyhounds, and of course Sindine Shelby is one of my very favourite greyhounds. She was the Australian Greyhound of the Year last year, and very worthwhile winner indeed. And tonight her performance was just splendid. The connection started off, Mr. Parkinson and the crew started off with a very good greyhound. Then they elected to go to Melbourne, pass it on to Kel Greeno, who've always considered one of the greatest trainers in Australia, and he's just done a splendid job to carry on from the good work that the Parkinson family did for the footing. So all of that taken into account, it's been a wonderful greyhound to win the race. It's been named in my honour. Thank you to De Bortley, and thank you to everybody else going greyhound racing.
She begins like that last week. She probably finds herself in the egg tonight.
Yeah, but can't cry over spilt milk.